Justin Shearer, known as the man behind the legend, has a wild past that includes not only racing, but also running from the law. Born in the rolling hills of Louisville, Kentucky in 1980, Big Chief was hooked on speed from an early age and was already obsessed with the underground street racing scene. He would ride his bike out to Old Route 66 just to watch the action. Big Chief's first big mistake came at just 18 years old when he found himself caught up in a hit and run in Oklahoma. The law says you stay put after an accident, but Chief was not sticking around for that. After the dust settled, he was staring at the possibility of 2 years in prison. However, he managed to dodge serious time. Fast forward a few years, and in 2001, he found himself behind bars in Oklahoma again for a while. Just 5 years later, he was caught tearing through Flagstaff, Arizona at over 85 miles per hour while racing. The Discovery Channel came knocking suddenly, and all of illegal street racing was being filmed for millions to see. It turned out that the whole thing was set up. With the roads closed, the police knew about it, and the so-called run-ins with the authorities staged it all for the cameras to make the audience think they were getting the real deal. In 2018, Big Chief got another speeding ticket in Springfield, Missouri, and by 2021, he was pulled over in Canadian Oklahoma for an expired license plate. This time, his record was looking anything but small. He was facing up to a year in jail. Big Chief's love for speed is avoiding the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. In 2021, the federal government came knocking, and they were not asking for a favor. They found out that Chief had skipped out on his taxes from 2013 to 2018, right when Street Outlaws was blowing up the bill a staggering $1,250,000. If he does not pay up by 2029, he might just lose it all. Just when you thought Big Chief's past was wild enough, Justin Shearer has a chance to change the narrative of street racing and make him a household name. Tyler Flip, a legendary car racing figure, was born on November 30th, 1981, in Chickasha, Oklahoma. He was part of the Oklahoma racing scene and was part of the boys who would later become reality television stars. Flip had the attitude, skills, and a car that looked like a disaster, but somehow tore up the streets. By the time Street Outlaws hit television screens in 2013, Flip was already gone, and his death still a mystery. Tyler Gene Pretty was part of the original crew of Oklahoma street racers and had a beast of a car, a beat-up 1980 Chevrolet El Camino known as the Elko. The car was put together with whatever Flip could scavenge aero or straight-up steal. The dude had personality, always having a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and never backed down from talking smack. Tyler Gene Pretty was born in Chickasha, Oklahoma, and had a love for cars from a young age. He grew up with Big Chief and Kamikaze, who were all about cars from the beginning. They started riding bikes together to watch races and eventually getting them to the scene. Flip took the usual path, went through school, worked as a storekeeper, and eventually found a gig at Warren Caterpillar, where he stuck around for 10 years. Racing was always the dream of Flip, and every spare dollar went into making his El Camino as fast and as sketchy as possible. Flip was just 31 years old when he passed away on May 28, 2013. Official information is not available, although there are many who believe that the wound was caused by a bullet. After some time had passed, his wife Morgan implied that he was battling with depression. However, there has been no confirmation of this. Additional stories circulated, such as the possibility of an accident or the participation of alcohol. Flip's memory is still a staple of the program, despite the fact that Street Outlaws did not see a meteoric rise in popularity. Kamikaze gave the El Camino to Flip after his closest buddy Big Chief made certain that it would not vanish. Flip was the recipient of this great gift. Kamikaze, a famed racing car owner, had a fast-paced existence and is credited with constructing a monster of a vehicle that caused his name to be forgotten by everyone. An Elko, an automobile that was constructed out of fiberglass, with enormous tires and a powerful engine, was involved in a terrible accident in February of 2021. When Kamikaze decided to sell off some of its components, including wheels, tires, and a portion of the brake rotor fans, the amount of money that was bid on exceeded $110,000. In the event that it reached 225,000, there was even a rumor that Kamikaze would serve the winner a steak meal while dressed in his racing outfit. For the purpose of perpetuating Kamikaze's legacy, Kamikaze constructed a new automobile, a Chevrolet Corvette C5, by using components from the Elco. It is possible that another Elco is in the works if the reports are accurate. Even after his death, Kamikaze's wife, Morgan Amber, continues to show her respect for him by obtaining a tattoo of a wing skull in his honor. They had 4 children together, and each of them had a moniker that was as distinctive as their father's toy automobile. The 28th of May is the day when fans take a minute to commemorate Kamikaze and to ensure that his memory continues to live on. A man by the name of Jeff Bunnett, often known as AZN, was frequently seen hanging around with farm truck on Street Outlaws in Oklahoma City. It was not enough for Jeff to just tinker with the engine. He had a passion for speed and wanted more. On the Oklahoma racing scene, he came across Sean Whitley, better known by his nickname Farm Truck, who was already a formidable competitor. In contrast to other racers, Jeff did not purchase the quickest muscle car available. Rather, he transformed a Volkswagen Beetle from the 1970s into a vehicle that was capable of competing with the more powerful vehicles. Individuals referred to it as the Dung Beetle, and it eventually became an integral part of his personality, much as his trash talk. In addition to living a fast-paced existence, Kamikaze, a famed racing car owner, constructed a monster of a vehicle that ensured his name would never be forgotten. On the 28th of May, supporters of the sport continue to commemorate his legacy and honor his accomplishments. Within the year 2013, Jeff and Farm Truck were well known on television due to the fun and amusing manner in which they raced drag cars. Even though they did not win every race, they were well known for their ability to make people laugh. Despite the fact that Jeff's racing style was not designed for direct competition, the producers of the program did not anticipate that it would provide them with any wins in the near future. This was an issue since people watch drag racing for more than just the jokes, and they tune in to see it. It was necessary for Jeff and Farm Truck to figure out their next move, and they decided to change the script. It was when they were given their very own spin-off, Street Outlaws Farm Truck and ASN, that they decided to do something entirely different in the event that they were unable to compete in the same manner as the other competitors. The exhibition was not about climbing the rankings or bringing home prize money. Rather, it was about having fun designing wild automobiles and doing things in their own unique manner. The performance did not end up being as successful as they had imagined it would be, despite their best efforts. On the other hand, the public was not as interested in the hardcore racing as they were in the hardcore racing, and the network did not push it hard enough either way. Nevertheless, Jeff and Farm Truck were finally able to make their way back to the Main Street Outlaw concert, and it is impossible to deny the influence that he had on the scene. Jeff had to deal with a number of personal challenges, including the passing of his mother while he was still a small child, and the passing of his father at a later age, which left him and his sister to work things out on their own. Farm Truck was the person he gravitated towards since he was in need of someone to facilitate his onward movement. Despite the fact that there were reports that Jeff was involved in a long-term relationship with Lisa Lacey, he managed to keep the emphasis on the vehicles and the enjoyment rather than the drama by not putting much information about it out there. It was either a need to escape or a passion that drove Jeff to develop a passion for racing. He deviated from the normal course of action and made it work, creating his own lane even if it was not always the most straightforward one.